Okay. Have you ever noticed that, like, learning a language is always sold to us like a neat little ladder? You memorize a vocabulary list, you take a predictable test, you step up a rung.
Right, it implies order.
Exactly. But the moment you actually try to speak that language in the real world, you realize it is, well, it's not a ladder at all. It is a full-blown circus.
Oh, absolutely.
I am currently out of breath.
Yeah.
I'm juggling these, like, 6 different conceptual clubs at once. My brain is completely tangled up in this text called A World of History, and I have the song Unforgettable stuck in my head on a relentless loop.
I mean, it's the absolute definition of mental gymnastics, right?
Yeah, total.
And that dynamic, the beautiful chaos of moving from theory to actual communication is exactly what we are dissecting today. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. I am so glad you're in the room with us today as we look at the latest class notes.
Wait, what class are we even looking at? I'm so lost in the curriculum.
Well, this is Acad FM, a deep dive created by AcademiaBSB's team. My paperwork is finally organized, I have the pedagogical reports open, and we are diving into the exact Google Meeting transcriptions, or the GMT, of Teacher Paulo's intensive ESL lesson with the VIP student, Alan.
Oh, boy.
And to officially timestamp this journey for you, today is Monday, May 4th, 2026. And reviewing these verbatim notes, I mean, it is entirely clear why any student would feel like they are backstage after a grueling big top performance.
Grueling is definitely the word. It's somewhat attempting to, empathize with Alan's linguistic high wire act here. Looking at these raw materials feels super overwhelming.
I bet.
But if we follow the theme of a circus, every performer needs their props before they step into the ring, right?
Yeah.
You have to know the exact weight and shape of what you're holding, which I guess brings us to the first hurdle in the notes, which is the building blocks of boundaries, the vocabulary section.
Exactly. Before you perform, you need your props. Let's look at the verbatim terms the class focused on for the current lesson. We have words like borders, adversities, and entirety.
Wait, I'm honestly baffled by these. Like entirety.
Okay, let's break it down using the analogies from the transcript. The notes explicitly say, and this is a verbatim quote, the borders are the limits between one country and the other.
Oh, okay, so a limit.
Right. And for entirety, Teacher Paulo explains it as simply the exact opposite of one part. It's something complete.
Gotcha, so not just a piece, the whole tent.
Exactly, stakes and all. And holding that tent up naturally brings adversities, which the notes define simply as challenges.
Challenges. Okay, that makes sense.
But here is where the linguistic landscape gets really interesting, The lesson pushes the student to acquire a more sophisticated vocabulary, like using the word acquire instead of the basic word buy.
Oh, wait, I noticed that. Like, acquire is just a fancier, more sophisticated synonym for buy, right?
Oh, yes, exactly. And the notes also highlight the word vanquished, meaning to completely disappear or to defeat someone.
Vanquish. That sounds so dramatic, like something a lion tamer would say.
It does. Now let's look at the past class vocabulary exercises. They contrast some very specific states of being. Tell me about busy versus lazy.
Okay, let me attempt to solve this from the exercises. So busy means you just don't have time, but lazy means you don't have energy.
Spot on. And how about audience versus backstage?
Well, the audience is out there on stage, or rather watching the stage, and backstage is, behind the curtains where all the chaos is happening.
Perfect distinction. Now, bringing all these props together, we move into the use of language section. The transcript highlights 3 specific phrases. One before last, revolve around something, and mountain ranges.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's do a brief impromptu role play to see how these lock together. I'll let you start.
Sure. Okay. Let me think. The one before last time I did a trapeze stunt, my whole routine had to revolve around something super specific, like making sure I didn't drop my hat.
And did you drop it while flying over the terrifying mountain ranges of the arena seating?
Oh, totally. It was a disaster.
Excellent use of the phrases, but, I can hear the gears grinding a bit in your head.
Yeah, my brain is kind of melting.
I think you need a breather before your brain completely explodes. Let's call our first commercial break. We're backstage, so tell me, what circus act are you prepping for right now?
Well, I am actually holding my training plate for the sword-swallowing routine.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and honestly, I am panicking a little bit because I accidentally started practicing with a curved scimitar instead of a straight blade.
Wait, really? A curved blade?
Yeah, and it's terrifying because your throat builds this muscle memory for a straight line. When you introduce an arbitrary curved line into the mix, you have to completely adjust your internal anatomy. It's wild.
That is horrifying, but also it perfectly correlates to the reading's theme for today.
Wait, how?
Well, the text explicitly contrasts the rigid, straight lines of borders drawn on a map with the arbitrary curved lines of natural geography, like rivers or mountains.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just like adjusting your throat to a natural curve instead of a straight man-made sword.
Okay, that actually makes so much sense. Wait, quick question to make sure I have this locked in. So is a boundary the exact same thing as a border?
Yes, in this context, they are synonyms. Short and straightforward answer for you.
Awesome. Well, speaking of throat control, a sword swallower needs absolute command over their vocal cords, which seamlessly brings us to our next act, pronunciation.
Great transition.
Yeah.
Let's examine the past class review first. They focused on the phonetic shifts between present and past tense. Think about run versus ran,
Right.
or come versus came, become versus became.
It's all about how you open your mouth, right?
Yeah.
Just changing the vowel.
Exactly. But the current class notes show where the real traps are. I want you to read a list of words for me, and let's see what happens. Let's start with nature and future.
Okay, nature, future. Let me guess the false similarity. Is culture pronounced like cultry?
Ah, that is the exact trap from the transcript. Teacher Paulo had to provide a verbatim correction sequence for this.
Oh, really? What was it?
He said, culture, future, nature, temperature.
Culture, future, nature, temperature. Okay, I have to drill that. English is so weird. What about false friends? I always struggle with the word navigable.
How so?
I always try to relate it to comfortable
Ah.
or like completable, navigable. It just sounds wrong.
Well, the notes specifically guide the student away from that. Instead of comfortable, compare it to unforgettable and understandable.
Unforgettable, understandable, navigable. Oh, I hear it. The rhythm matches.
Yes, structural anchoring is key. Now, what about the classic trap? Desert versus dessert.
Oh, the one S versus two S's.
Exactly. The notes explain that desert with one S is a barren landscape, while dessert with a double S is a sweet pudding.
Right, because you always want two helpings of dessert. Okay, I need another breather off the stage. Strap me to the spinning wheel. I am officially transitioning to the human dartboard.
Consider yourself strapped in. Second commercial break. As the human target, how do you actually survive that without losing an ear?
It's pure trivia, honestly. Professional dart throwers don't aim at my current position. They rely on predicting the exact rotation speed of the wheel to anticipate where I'll be.
That takes incredible focus.
Yeah, they have to throw so many darts, it feels like the darts are just everywhere all at once.
Everywhere, all at once. That connects directly to another concept from the notes, the word ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous.
Yes, it means being everywhere. The text talks about how things become ubiquitous in densely populated areas, kind of like how those darts feel ubiquitous when you're strapped to the board.
That paints a very scary picture.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, though, does ubiquitous mean the same as delicious because they rhyme?
No, not at all. Ubiquitous means it is everywhere. Delicious just tastes good, short and sweet.
Gotcha. Full of everywhere, not full of flavor. All right, with our vocabulary anchored and our pronunciation warmed up, I think it is time for the main stage act.
Yes, the big act, listening and speaking. This is where you prove you understand native speakers and can speak fluently.
No pressure.
The notes give a great overview of the listening task. They really emphasize the critical importance of practicing with real-life, up-to-date English native materials.
Yeah, no more robotic textbook recordings.
Exactly. They assigned two distinct tracks for this, the classic song Unforgettable by Nat King Cole and Natalie Cole, and they contrasted it with the modern hip-hop track, also called Unforgettable, by French Montana featuring Sway Lee.
Oh, I love that. Testing the exact same concept across entirely different genres. It's brilliant.
It truly trains the ear. And then we have the speaking task. You have to read aloud verbatim from the text, A World of History. Let's hear it.
Okay, here we go, verbatim. I have always been fascinated by borders, the limitations man puts on himself.
Stop right there. The transcript notes that Teacher Paulo had to pause here to focus on phonetic pairs.
Oh no, what did I do?
Well, in the transcript, there was a struggle between the words others, olders, and otter.
Oh, right, the sound. Others.
Yeah.
It's so easy to slip and just say otter like the animal.
Exactly. Let's look at the next part about how rivers divided the entirety of men.
Right, let me try that sentence.
Mm.
Until engineers designed bridges so that nature was conquered.
Good. Now let's compare the pronunciation of conquered versus started.
Conquered. Started. Yeah, the ed ending is totally different physically in the mouth. Concord is much softer.
You navigated that beautifully, but you look like you're tied in knots again. Time for our final commercial break. What are you practicing now?
I am literally twisted into a human pretzel practicing contortion.
A contortionist. Okay, what's the secret to that?
Well, it's weird, but you actually have to train your body to move inward rather than outward. You compress to find flexibility.
Move inward rather than outward. I am so excited because that perfectly correlates to the architectural expansion mentioned in today's reading text.
Wait, the cities?
Yes. When cities were limited by geographic borders and could no longer move outward, they had to build upward. They built inward and upward, leading to massive skyscrapers of steel and concrete that, to quote the text, vanquished the very idea of space.
So a skyscraper is really just a very tall building.
Exactly. A very, very tall building.
Amazing. Well, I feel like the curtain is finally coming down on this show.
It is. Which means it's time for the director's notes and the post-show wrap-up. Looking at the student performance and the CEFRL framework, I have to praise the sheer volume of new vocabulary tackled today.
It was a lot.
Mastering these texts is exactly what pushes a student higher up the CEFRL ladder toward true independent fluency.
Well, I suppose all this mental contortion actually pays off then. I really thought I completely destroyed the word navigable earlier.
You did great. But don't disappear into your circus caravan just yet. You have homework.
Oh, of course I do. What is it?
You have a quiz on worlds through time to complete and a requirement to record the text audio. Plus, there's some fantastic bibliographic references linked in the notes.
Oh, like about the historical impacts of maps and geography?
Exactly. I highly encourage you to explore those before the next lesson.
Will do. So, what's the upcoming linguistics scope? What's the next challenge?
Next class is going to be incredibly exciting. We are tackling suffixes, plus Unit 87, which covers distributive adjectives and pronouns like each and every.
Okay, each and every.
And reciprocal pronouns like each other and one another. And my personal favorite structure, so do I and so am I.
Oh, so do I. I love that structure. It's literally like the circus's Pepper's ghost illusion.
Wait, how so?
Well, you know that mirror trick that makes a ghost appear on stage?
Yeah.
Saying so do I is like holding up a grammatical mirror to the other person's sentence. They say a phrase, and you just reflect their auxiliary verb right back at them.
A structural mirror. I love that. Now, before we pack up the tent, I want to leave you, our listener, with a final provocative thought to mull over.
Oh, let's hear it.
It perfectly ties into the theme of unforgettable history. It's a quote from the acclaimed Latino artist Gabriel Garcia Marquez. What matters in life is not what happens to you, but what you remember and how you remember it.
Wow. That really makes you think about how we store all this language in our brains.
It really does. And speaking of storing things, it is time to announce the gamification rewards for the day. With massive Ringmaster energy, let me announce, stars won today. 19.
19 stars. That is a huge haul.
It is, and the class statistics reflect that hard work. We have vocabulary growth at 49 words,
Incredible.
a comprehensive lexicon repertory of 333 words, oral fluency and speech engagement span hit 180 minutes.
3 whole hours.
Listening wavelengths clocked in at 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 18 seconds, and an absolutely brilliant phonetic deviation ratio of -8%.
-8%. The mistakes are actually dropping. That is amazing.
The acrobatics are working. And with that, we'll sign off for today. Remember, folks, under the big top, it is not only about the language, it is all about communication.
Totally. Keep juggling, keep speaking, and we will see you next time on The Deep Dive.